The meeting of the Acadia Parish Budget and Finance Committee come to order, please. Roll call.
Here.
Here.
Steve Jones.
Here.
Zetta David.
Here.
Francis Miller.
Here. At this time, Ms. Becky Atkinson will lead the prayer. Please stand and remain standing for the pledge.
Our scripture for this evening is from 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its form. Please join me in saying the Our Father.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
At this time, I would like to invite Midland High's FCCLA to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your club.
I'm Avery Vincent. For the state conference, I ran for state office and I was elected vice president of competitive events.
I'm Addison Guidry, and I got first place in the Knowledge Bowl.
I'm Olivia Kane, and me and my team ran for star event, and we placed gold in sports nutrition.
I'm Kristen Abshire, and I also placed first in the Knowledge Bowl.
Congratulations. Ms. Becky and Mr. Delo have some certificates for you, if you would stand. Once again, thank you, Midland FCCLA, and congratulations on your hard work. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity as chairperson to recognize the following groups for special recognition. If the Church Point powerlifting team could come up. On Saturday, March 25th, 2023, Church Point High School won the Boys Division III state title. The members of the team were as follows. So if you could just take a step up when I say your name. DeMarcus Bellard, Jordan Grissom, David Royton, okay, David Mancino, Grant Hendricks, Demarion Gary, Landon Angel, Wyatt Daigle, Braxton LeBlanc, Garen Benoit, and Braxton Mesh, along with head coach Eddie Bergeron and assistant coach Kirk Laverne. Wonderful. You got what you got there in your hand?
Let's see your,
We want to see that.
yeah, let's see. Wow.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful accomplishment.
Congratulations.
So Coach, how many days has been?
Total? I'm at Church Point 16 overall.
Great.
One more time, coaches and members of powerlifting team, we're very proud of you. Congratulations. I would also like to recognize Branch Elementary Beta Club, who will be attending the National Beta Convention. So if you're in attendance, would you come up and when I say your name, walk up so that we can see who you are? Come to the front. Cohen Andrus, not here, okay. Addison Benoit, Bryson Como, Levi DeVille, Noah DeVille, and Carter Moe, along with their advisors, Aaron Royer and Crescenda Broussard. Wonderful. So when is the Beta Convention, the national, and when do y'all get to go? When is the convention?
June 25th.
Okay, so during the summer. Okay,
Yes.
yes.
We're running out of time, but we have to fix this. Part of it is now. Earlier this year, our engineering and 45 minutes to build the elevator. This year, our engineering of limiting our engineering. That's good. Something's not right. Something missing. We're nothing. Oh. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome. So good luck at nationals. We wish you the best of luck and hope to hear some good news from nationals. Sounds like y'all have it together.
Y'all really good at that.
Well, my name is, as you've already heard, I'm Noah DeVille, and I'm part of the engineering team along with Carter, Levi, and Bryson, and Cohen, who's not here right now. In the past beta convention, the last one, we were instructed to build an elevator in the span of 45 minutes, and we were only allowed to use items that we could fit in a 10-gallon box. After a lot of trial and error, we decided on the design that you can see up there. It uses a wheel and axle to bring the cart, which is the load, to the top of the elevator. Since we only had 45 minutes, we all had to practice different kind of jobs that we had to do. I had to connect the strings to the straws that we have on the load to make it get to the top. And I guess, Levi, do you want to explain what job you and Carter did?
Yes, me and Carter, we built the wheel and axle system to where we could pull it up, connecting it to the string.
And Bryson, you want to come say what you and Cohen did?
Me and Colin, we fixed the boxes because they were flat when we started, because we couldn't have anything like pre-assembled, but we could have it pre-cut. So we had the boxes pre-cut, and then we stacked them and we taped them together, and we built the structure.
And then we all worked together to assemble the entire thing together. For nationals, we plan to make the base bigger so that we can make the entire elevator taller. And we're planning on using a system of paper towel rolls and connectors to be able to bring the marbles back to the bottom whenever they get to the top. And of course, the engineering team, we weren't the only people that placed for Beta Nationals. So I'll just leave the rest to Addison.
Well, hi, I'm Madison Benoit. I'm an 8th grader at Branch Elementary, and I placed 4th in the state for ELA. The test was 45 minutes long and measured vocabulary, critical thinking, ELA core content, and literary analysis. We want to thank you all again for your support, and we're super excited to go to nationals.
We're very proud of all of you. Thank y'all very much to all of the groups that are in attendance tonight. Okay, item 2.1, review the budget to actual comparisons on the general fund and all special revenue funds.
Good evening, everyone. Should have an attachment handed out earlier today. Basically all the numbers. Do have a little bit of good news. Yes, sure.
Talk numbers is a good way to clear the room.
Yeah. So a little bit of good news. I highlighted the property tax revenue line items, which came in above what we were expecting. Property taxes usually come in January, February, and March. So we actually expected to get now about $450,000 more than what we were expecting. So, you know I'm always coming with some bad news. So I felt that we'd lead with that. So, but other than that, everything else is pretty much on track, stagnant, and that's pretty much all I have. I'd welcome any questions any of you may have. About 500,000 to 600,000 deficit spending, but still much better than where we started.
Yes, thank you, Justin. Item 2.2, consider revenue for the 2023-2024 budget.
Should have an attachment in board docs. It's basically revenues are projected right now at $89,669,716 for the true general fund. That's for next year. That's about $382,230 more than what was at the mid-year budget that the board adopted. It does have a projected student decrease again next year in it. We are predicting higher sales tax revenue to kind of offset some of the MFP basically decline from student enrollment, but that's about what we're looking at, which will still put us in deficit spending next year just because of what we're expecting from the expenditure side to go up as well. But that's where general funds predicted The one line item that is of concerning that I brought up earlier, a few months ago was the indirect cost. The revenue is at $1,350,000. Just the board needs to keep in mind that after September 2024, that number will drastically decrease to around 400,000 to 500,000. So we will be looking for revenue during that fiscal year or a way to decrease expenditures. That's pretty much what I have for next month. September 2024 is when ESSER funds have to be completely expended.
Make a motion to consider revenue for 2023-2024 budget.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so was moved and second that we consider the revenue for the 2023-2024 budget. Item 2.3, consider approval of updated property schedule of values.
This schedule has about $4,461,934 added on to it compared to last year. Most of that is directly related to the child nutrition freezer project and the Egan Elementary classrooms. This is the schedule that after the board approves in May goes to our property insurance carrier and they go out and get property insurance quotes on it.
What is the projected increase in our insurance department? Do you have that yet of all this 16 million that we get?
We won't have it until it actually goes out for bid, and we do pray carrier got y'all. They bid it.
Those values won't be on there
Until the construction is complete. We did add the child nutrition freezer on it because it's so close to being complete. We didn't want to take the chance of it not being included in case we got a summer storm. So we added that in there. No, but the higher your schedule of values, the more you're going to pay in property insurance. And right now we at $190 million, you know.
I make a motion to consider approval of updated property schedule value.
I'll second.
All in favor of considering the approval of the updated property schedule of values? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. 2.4, consider the approval of change order request for the child nutrition freezer project.
It should have a cover page that kind of summarizes what the change order request is. It's relatively small compared to most change order requests, right at $2,055 for basically fire alarm, issues with the fire alarm system is basically what it boiled down to.
Make a motion to consider approval of the change order request for child nutrition freezer project.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to consider the approval of change order request for the child nutrition freezer project. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
They're fully in there. They're fully in there right now.
No, we haven't. They were still waiting on the generator and that it was right around $80,000 for the generator. So the architect just doesn't feel comfortable basically awarding substantial completion without the generator being in. We were told that mid-April, we'd have an estimated delivery date. As of now, we have not received one, but barring any bad luck, we expect to be in by the end of May, or at least be able to move in and have substantial completion in front of the board. The only other change order expected is basically a time change order for extension of days because of the late delivery of a generator. So you will have another change order coming, but it shouldn't have a dollar amount tied to it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, item 2.5, consider approval to advertise and seek bids for the 2023-2024 official journal.
I make a motion to consider approval, advertise and seek bids for 2023-2024 official.
Second the motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item 2.6, consider approval to extend the facilities usage agreement between the Acadia Parish School Board and the City of Rain.
This is another 5-year extension of the existing, basically document that we have. Basically Rain High's baseball team uses the City of Rain's baseball park.
I move that we,
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we'll move that forward.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? The Budget and Finance Committee meeting is over.
Personnel, Insurance, and Curriculum Committee, please come to order. Roll call at this time.
Becky Atkinson, here. James Etta David,
Here.
Ike Reshore, Milton Seymour, Jackson Fox.
2.1, hear report on teacher certification status of Acadia Parish Schools.
All right, in your hand, you have a copy of the breakdown of certified practitioner license and uncertified teachers by school. There are three categories. The first category is certified. Those are people that are fully certified. The next one is practitioner's license. That is considered a standard certificate by the state of Louisiana, so they are actually counted as fully certified. Those are people that have taken and passed their content area and are enrolled in an alternative certification program and have been issued a practitioner's license by the state. The last category is uncertified. This includes people that have bachelor's degree and haven't done anything else, people that have attempted to take their test and haven't been successful at passing it, people that have taken and passed their content area test, but are not yet enrolled as practitioners. People that have taken and passed their taken and passed their content area test, or not yet enrolled in the practitioner's program. People that have taken and passed their content area test and are enrolled in a practitioner's program but have not yet been issued a practitioner's license. About 40 of our 76 uncertified people are eligible for a practitioner's license, just haven't done it. They're in the process. They haven't gotten it to them. We have about 13% of our faculty that are not fully certified. The area that we really need to work on to get certified. People that, the schools that have people that are not certified. And for the last couple of years, we've been looking for bodies for the classroom because there were not enough people. Last year, Armstrong, we had probably six spots that we could not find people for, and teachers were using Zoom to certify them at the same time. This year, we have every section is filled. They're not certified, but we have somebody in the classroom. And a lot of people have been working hard to get their certification.
And does it seem that the 4-day week is having people coming to?
Week, I am getting more inquiries from outside the district. We had a great trip at UL and at Acadia weeks as well. We have more people interested in these. We usually get people who are from here. But there were several people who are not from here that are planning to move here. They all thought everybody's talking about. So it looks as though it's going to, help us find a lot more certified people. We won't know that until we start some of these things here. But it's looking really good right now.
So we have people that are working on their licensure and they have to take the test. They have a degree in education but they haven't passed the test.
Correct. It used to be practice 1 and practice 2, but practice 1 was done away with. So now it's just the content.
So if they don't pass that before the beginning of this school year, what are we gonna do to assist them to stay with us if they've been successful in the class?
Well, we already have a lot in place. We are, we got 240, which is an online, resource for study guides for practice tests. And
What
teachers.
did you say?
42, 242.
They get an email with a login so they can get online and use the software. The company basically guarantees that if you do the process and take the test, but as you finish the course, you will pass your test. We have several people that are using that. We had some who were issued an invitation. I took advantage of it, but they could have been using other resources that we need about. We use our lead teachers for tutoring those that are having trouble passing certain, especially math. Tends to be the area that we have the most trouble with. And again, if we have certified people that apply, they have not, that are here have not met the requirements, then we have to be certified.
On the top of your head, do you happen to know who the uncertifieds are at Rain and Armstrong? If they were ELA, math, science, where's the trouble?
It's a mix of different subjects.
What's that like Ross having 19 teachers, 9 of them certified?
Ross is a hard school to start.
That's what I wanted to try to ask. Do y'all, or the principals or whoever can determine where these people are gonna be placed or to keep them from maybe getting in a critical area?
Principals, that principals decide to change the curriculum classroom.
Okay.
The principals also make the recommendations to hire. I don't tell them who they can hire. They make those recommendations to us. Principals choose who they hire and what classroom they're doing, what subject areas.
What's the conversation you're having here tonight? Not grinning at your problem. It's the same conversation that every board. I want it to be clear. This is not unique to your parish. My brother is in Watchtower. They have one university there and no other, right there in town with them. And they can't get certified teachers. He tells me that he interviews with a stethoscope. They pass the background check and they got a big part of their hiring. So anyway, well, true, but I don't really care what other parents are doing. I'm worried about what we can do to get that done. So, any help from us that you see that you need to look at?
Anybody you see that's interested in teaching, encourage them to do that. I appreciate that. One problem is a lot of people bash education, so they don't know education. So the more people we actually positively about being teachers and helping children is best for all of us, including kids.
But you're signing up for so much more now than you did back then.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Mentioned about UL. What about the other colleges?
I have not been to the others in a couple of years because they don't have about 20 kids and not able to come down. Bell in the fall had 19 kids were graduating from college education. This spring they had 70. So that was very
Yeah, that was gonna be the next question. What do you think the universities are doing? Have you heard from them with their?
they're trying to get Pre-educator
the
pathway
pre-educator pathway.
where we can get kids that are in high school interested in teaching. And Carol can talk about the educator rising program that we're getting
We're getting,
revved up to do.
we started this year at the high school, we started the educator rising clubs. We don't have a whole lot of students that are currently in them, but, next school year, we will have the clubs as well as start the pre-educator pathway, which you can have a university pathway as well as the top set option. Jumpstart pathway is included in there to where we can train students that are interested in becoming paraeducators, as well as those students that are interested in becoming teachers. And so they would begin their coursework their junior and senior year, which would include internships where we would be able to begin placing them at some of our elementary schools or whatever area they're looking at going into for education, and pairing them up with students and getting them some classroom experience so that they can begin observing and seeing actually what occurs in the classroom. So we're starting that pathway this coming school year. So we're hoping that as we begin that process of growing our own in education, and students interested in becoming teachers, that as we start that process, it may be slow in the beginning, but we hope as we get more students in that pathway and having some success, that we'll be able to keep students that are from here interested in education and come back and work for us as teachers. So we're working on that as well.
We also, we've hired maybe 6 pairs this year as teachers instead of pairs. We pay tuition, reimburse for tuition, portion of tuition for all the classes that they take. We also reimburse them for the practice exams. So we're trying to help them monetarily as well.
So you say you had 6 sparrows? Did you give a number? 6.
And last year we hired 3,
Any of them ready to go? Or
we hired 6 that were ready to go.
talking about the next year, will they be certified?
I don't know, we have some that are working on it. We have 1 that is enrolled in, 2 that are enrolled in each university, which is a state push to give them a bachelor's degree, get them certified. I don't know if you guys are.
I appreciate what you did at Armstrong. People in there. I know you go ahead.
Yeah. I was kind of happy about the 32%. It's not great. It's not horrible.
I'm not happy that we have so many schools in Crowley that don't have certified staff, and that we have schools that are struggling with their students' performance.
Absolutely.
If we have a certified teacher in those classrooms, we have a better chance of getting.
Absolutely.
I think, for equitable service, not for parish, we need to look at how we can attract certified teachers to want to come and serve our population in Crowley area.
When I spoke to the Crowley High principal earlier this year, that was his thing. He said, he has teachers, but then when an opening comes up in one of the other high schools, they want to go. So he said, if there'd be any way as an incentive to, do something to keep them, and maybe that's something when we have any money we could, look at.
And in some places, they do give incentives to have certified teachers go to those schools that are in a greatest need. And definitely, Ross is in a great need. And Crowley High is in great need. I think that, I know we are in a deficit, but it seems that, we need to meet the needs of all the children throughout the whole district. We can't play favorites to any certain area of the district. I just feel that we're not servicing everyone. If we don't have certified teachers equitably spread out throughout the district. That's just my feeling.
I feel sorry for those families. I agree, I wish we had 100%.
Well, and I know in reality, it's even in some of the big parishes where they have a lot of money, they still struggle with having certified people. But what I see in looking at this is that where we've allowed people to migrate out and go out and go to schools of somewhat choice, there are people in Crowley that don't have a choice. Their children have to go to these schools because they can't bring them, transport them, provide that transportation to go to another school where they might have certified teachers and the student achievement scores better in those schools. So as a district, I would like to challenge us to put our heads together and walk in and try to see what we can do to bring to these campuses what they need. We haven't done it yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion? 2.2, hear report on current and future efforts to address truancy in Acadia Parish schools. Wait.
Good afternoon, everyone. Everybody got their own name?
Excuse me, Miss David needs one. Anyone have Miss Davis over there?
Richard, will you work this out? Okay, there you go. Thank you.
I have one.
Oh.
Thank you.
Included in your packet be several items, truancy meetings that were held to address truancy in Acadia Parish. And Carol Tall, Ellen Baggett, myself, and the superintendent, we met with the district attorney's office. We started a plan prior to that, giving them information that they may need to establish some type of truancy court in Acadia Parish, which is sorely needed. What you have in front of you would be the truancy meetings, who we spoke to, and the things that we plan to do, plan of action to address truancy. Also, in your next item, it came from the advocate. It states that 4 of 10 Louisiana public schools are classified as truant. That means 40% of students in Louisiana are currently truant. That's an average parish-wide. And I think there's been some confusion regarding what truancy is versus unexcused absences. Truancy is a kid just does not want to go to school, period. And that's the area we need to address. The other absences could be unexcused or truant as well. But the kids are not in school, and there are things that we have to do to make sure that they attend school. Currently, you'll have the truancy rates for every district, neighboring, close by in the area. And it shows you the percentages of truancy for the 21-22 school year. And it lists all of them. Acadia was not listed in there, so that was pulled from our data person, Jared Kuti. And our truancy rate for 21-22 is 59%. In the parishes listed, some are in the 30s, some 11%, 38. Evangeline has 34%. You can read all those different percentages of truancy in different areas. According to research and best practices, these particular districts have additional help
to work with truancy, because truancy is an ongoing job every day, not hit it one day, miss one day, and come back. It has to take place on a daily basis. Also, basically, if you're looking in your packet, it says truancy facts. You'll have the truancy rates, and also in the next sheet, you'll have a comparison of the attendance rates by site for a 5-year period, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22. And if you look at the schools, basically you'll see their average daily attendance rate. Majority of the schools in the 90% bracket, and you have one that's in the 89% bracket. And days absent kind of correlates basically too as well with the school performance score, some of the schools also. There is a push in the legislature to make some changes. This is called the STAR instrument. It's Success Through Attendance Recovery, and it's just a task force. They're currently meeting on trying to come up with ways to get students in school and make sure they're following the policies regarding truancy. But truancy is a problem nationwide. It's everywhere. But as Mr. Jones said, we need to address truancy in Acadia Parish. That's our main focus here, and we're going to do the best we can. We're also going to revisit some things, looking at our current truancy policy and try to make some adjustments to that so we can attract kids better in a more efficient manner. And I think for the first time, we have a truancy court meeting, which is established with Carol, L&K, and a couple of others who met with the couple of judges in the ADA. And they agreed to have a truancy court date scheduled for May the 2nd to address excessive absences, but it only addresses kids K to age 10. After that, basically, the kids are mainly on their own. But I think if you address the process of getting kids started in the practice of going to school, some consequences for not going to school, I think we'd have a better chance and a more successful rate as the kids matriculate to grades 6 through 12. And some more changes coming, which may be a little troubling to I know our organization, Child Welfare and Attendance Association. They want to change the process of absenteeism. You'll have excused absences, unexcused absences, and suspensions. All those days will be free days. That's where they're trying to get where the kids will not be marked absent for that, but it will count towards truancy. But I think that was brought before the committee, and it was tabled, and they're going to meet again in June. But I think we're going to maintain what we have, the types of absences. And another bill that's brewing too, they would like to give kids 3 days off for mental health. If they're not feeling well, if they don't feel like they're having problems, and they will be allowed to make up their work. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on right now legislative. It hasn't passed yet. A lot of these are proposals, and we're watching those very closely. But our focus will be to try to keep kids in school and work with them. The Pete's organization works well with tracking kids and meeting with parents and so forth. And that's been rather successful in the past. So we just need to continue working hard and diligent on what we're doing and do the best we can with what we have. Any questions for me?
What is our policy right now?
Well,
At individual schools, what are we doing?
Well, we did a survey to find out which individuals were responsible for reporting. Every day there's a person who calls the parents home if the kid is not at school. They want to know the reason why they're absent, not feeling well, they have excuse, they have a doctor's appointment, but calls are made every day to track students who are absent. That's on a daily basis.
Talk with some college teachers. And they were telling me they're looking at some students with 70, 80 absences a year.
That's correct.
One teacher told me there was like 25 absences, one kid in the 9-week period.
Right.
We hold the teachers accountable for test scores, but yet we allow kids to stay home without any action taken. I think that's unacceptable.
Right.
And I don't know why we not addressing this more. I know at one time we had it.
Task, truancy assessment.
I don't know why it was dropped.
Money, district attorney's office, the task assessment program was dropped about maybe 10 years ago, which was very effective, but it's no longer in existence right now.
But getting kids to school is critical.
And it-
And I know what, you talking 90%, but I'm not talking about 90%, I'm talking about 10%.
Right.
We have to address it. I remember when I was principal, we reported 5 days.
They still do that.
At 10 days.
3579 goes to Finn's office, 13 days. Now, the problem with,
What happened?
well, there's one fence person for 50,000 students. Vermilion Parish, Lafayette Parish, and Acadia. So that's an impossible task for one person to do. Now, the parents need to take some responsibility for that as well, to get their kids to school. I mean, we're reporting, we're sending the letters, we've established now, first time ever a truancy court, which never had before. So hopefully, if somebody's fined or something happens, then I think the parents will get the message. And yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, when I would send in a student that missed 10 days, I had a truancy officer come in my school, finding out why, asking the address of this parents, and they were going knock on the door.
I agree.
And it was very effective. And I think we need to make those kind of efforts. We need to hold parents accountable. You know, and I hear COVID, you know, since COVID, I'm tired of hearing COVID as excuses. We got to start addressing some things that are affecting us. And truancy and absenteeism is one of them that we got to hold people accountable for.
I agree.
And I hope we come up with a plan. I hope the board's involved in meeting with the judges and stuff. And I'd like to see them come to a meeting.
Yeah, we've had meetings with the judge in the DA's office, and that's why the truancy court was born now. So hopefully moving forward, that will address the problems that we're having.
Now, I read Mr. Richard's article in the paper. Ms. Todd, Carol, you gonna be in charge?
Oh, no, sir, no, I'm not in charge of truancy. I was assisting with facilitating the process and making some coordinated efforts with the judge's office. The initial request came from our local judges with some concerns about truancy, and Mr. Richard and Superintendent Richard and the judges had spoken previously, so we started meeting with them in October to begin having discussions about what could we do about trying to get more processes together, both on our end as well as on the side of the judicial courts, as far as trying to put more, I guess, teeth to what's allowable in the law in regards to students with truancy. So that's what our result of that was, our ability to finally bring at least 6 cases to the court system May 2nd. Mr. Darasel is still ultimately in charge of truancy and those processes. We have had several meetings here internally with Ms. Baggett, Mr. Terrio, myself, Mr. Darasel, the superintendent, in regards to revisiting what our current processes are internally and looking at what we need to restructure process-wise, procedure-wise, as far as on the district end, what supports we need to make available to the schools, so that way we are more streamlined with our processes and there's a consistency with what we're doing. The schools are doing an excellent job with making sure the letters are being sent to the families. They are beating those bushes. They are contacting Ms. Pete and the HSL to go and make home visits. Those things are all happening. So we just need to revisit our current processes, and beef up whatever we need to on our end to support the schools. So that we have a process that's very strong, that when we send cases up to the court system, that it's all very consistent with what we have from school to school and what's happening at the district level.
Carol, statement 6 students, what made us decide,
So what,
why are these 6 and not 50?
okay, we
Excessive
brought
absences.
up, our last meeting with the judges, we had about 50 students that we had targeted. And we looked at any student that was 40 days or more absent. In speaking with the judges, a lot of those cases were at the high school and the middle school age group. In speaking with them, due to the fact that there's not a whole lot, by the time a kid gets to the high school level, not that the parents aren't trying, but sometimes those are harder to make a difference with holding them accountable, because a high school student can leave, say I'm going to school, well, they may never make it. That doesn't mean the parent did or didn't try. It's just, that student has a little more leeway to kind of veer off the path of not going to school. So in speaking with them, they wanted to target the lower grades to where that we could catch them and try to put those interventions in place, hold the parents accountable, and start with that age group so that the effect, we will see as they grow older, we will see that make an impact. So that's kind of how we got to having 6 cases. We did send 20-something cases up, and after the DA reviewed them, she accepted 6 cases.
Most of the kids are repeat offenders.
Yes.
Yeah, persistent absences, basically. And I think what has happened, Fins is not the bad guy in all this. Initially, Fins, the top families in need of services, they find the cause of the absences rather than the punitive end. The district attorney, if they accepts the case, then they will make charges against the parent and so forth. But they assist medicine, Fins, glasses for kids. They try to figure the underlying factors that cause kids to miss school, and they try to work with the family. So I think everybody thinks Fins is the long arm of the law. They're not. The DA has to set the docket for the cases to take place.
What are the obstacles?
I made it to the court. Multiple numbers, probably maybe 50 or 60.
Does that go through your office?
Yes, it comes through my office. The schools send them off and they get a certified copy from us. And they have to take the initiative of trying to get the cases on the docket.
What
Now
are
that
the
we have a docket.
obstacles? What are the obstacles of getting one person here in Acadia Parish finned?
Well, in
Like in the
my
future.
opinion, that's just my opinion. And districts' best practices with lower numbers of truancy have additional people working just truancy. That's my opinion.
Our hands are pretty much tied to the districts.
Yeah.
It's not like we can go out and pick up the parents and put, I'm sending the kids to school and arrest them. We can't do that.
No.
It's not, if we could, guess what? We would be like this.
But years ago, we had one person that was in charge of finned here in Acadia Parish.
Right.
So now we have to share it with 2 other parishes, that finned officer.
Yes, about 50,000 students. Yeah.
And I think, and I know it's about to say, but our hands are not tied as far as providing information to the judicial system. And are we gonna have an outline in place, a policy, a truancy policy?
We have one in place, but we revisit and we're gonna make adjustments to make
Will
sure.
that be presented to the board
Yes.
prior to the end of the year, or?
Well, it will be presented before the next start of the 23-24 school year. So we currently working on it.
And principals, teachers report, principals report to you. And if it's a problem, then we go to the judicial. We gotta help them.
Right. We provide the information to them so they can do a successful prosecution.
Even if they want y'all, we gotta do everything we can to
Oh, yeah.
get y'all.
I agree. That's correct.
So is it still 10% absentee that goes into the test scores, Carol? Okay, so this is 10% of the school.
And we could testing, I bet our attendance is up.
Most of the time.
Mhm.
I mean,
They still have to go get them though.
I'd like to see that kind of number.
Yeah. Ideally, yes, I agree.
and I will say this, putting the summaries together for the judges and for the assistant district attorney. I mean, our schools they are really making a very concerted effort to get those kids back in school. They are really.
And that, and
They are
you know,
making that
as I
effort.
talk to principals, which is sorry if I have, that was, it's just been a perpetual problem year to year, is that they do exhaust all of
They
these
really do.
interventions from school staff reaching out to the home, but they feel like they need some support. And I would like to see us give them policy for our parents, as a school system. Now, Lafayette Parish, you said in your opinion, they have other people. So Lafayette Parish, they have people that will go and visit. Were they hired by the school system? Or
Hired by the school system as a truancy coordinator and 4 individuals who work under her. And that's one lady, she's assigned just to go to the courts, the liaison between the courts and the schools.
They're hired by Lafayette Parish School.
Yes.
I just like to follow up on that and really come up with some concrete things that we can look at and be able to talk to these principals at some of these, say, look, this is in place. If you have a problem, this is what you do.
Right. Okay, we do have some truancy laws on the books, but if anything goes, it still has to come before the board for approval. So we'll have something ready to present to y'all, and y'all can take a close look at it and make decisions regarding that.
Madam Chair. Good afternoon, members. This is Superintendent Richard. I'd just like to chime in before we wrap up this agenda item. We're very thankful to Judge Privat and Judge Trahan here in the city of Crowley for extending their direct assistance to focus on those students and parents who have been chronically absent and meet the definition of truant. We assume the judges' dockets were full, and despite that, they reached out to us directly to initiate a renewed effort focused on truancy, obviously, because it is such a problem, not just here in Acadia, but everywhere. I don't want to end this report without thanking the staff that we do have hired. We do have homeschool liaisons that go and make home visits in our communities here in Acadia Parish outside of the school efforts. We also have Ms. Pete's office with the parental involvement coordination, and we have Mr. Duracell's office. The breakdown we felt was putting teeth into the program with the judicial system, since the task funding has gone away and there would seem to be a disconnect between the school system in Acadia and the courts and the parents of those students, our youngest students, that really have no culpability as far as responsibility of getting to and from school, which I think is part of the reasoning why some of the focus for this initial court date is on those younger students. we all know as students mature, they work the system to not come to school. So all those things being said, Judge Privat, Judge Malise Stronghold, and Angie Wagner, who is the Assistant District Attorney assigned from the 15th Judicial District, which is made up of Acadia, Vermilion, and Lafayette. We appreciate their efforts. We understand the state agencies are overwhelmed. We know FINS is in need of improvement, and the Department of Children and Family Services is in need of improvement, and so are we, for that matter, here in the school system. And I hope you've gleaned from today's report that we are making an effort and we are working collaboratively to try to get some better processes in place for the start of next school year. This first court hearing in May, thankfully, Ms. Wagner and the judges have agreed to at least have an initial meeting before the end of the school year. And we're very appreciative of their efforts. And we thank you for your cooperation as a board. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yes, Sean, just about that. Expert.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Okay,
There's-
thank you.
2.3, receive update on Head Start.
You have a standard report in your packet. We are at end of year wrapping up with our normal end of year procedures at Head Start, conducting transition meetings, and tours occurring at our elementary schools and our kindergarten schools with our pre-K and kindergarten students. And as a reminder, our policy council meets Thursday. So that's just a little update on Head Start. Any questions? Thank you.
No questions? 2.4, consider approval of an out-of-state travel request for Iota High FFA to attend the National FFA Convention, Indianapolis, Indiana, on November 1 through 4, 2023. Okay, it has been motioned by Milton and second by Mr. Richard. Any discussion from the board? No discussion. The motion to approve this travel trip has been approved, accepted by the board with consent. 2.5, consider board and committee meeting days and authorize adjustment to Acadia Parish Policy File, BC School Board Meeting, and Policy File, BBC Board Committee, effective July 1st, 2023.
Madam Chair, this is Superintendent Richard. This item was presented to our leadership in a recent meeting with the president and vice president in regards to, obviously, we moved to a 4-day work week for the upcoming school years commencing on July 1st. And there was some discussion regarding moving the official day of the board meetings and committee meetings to another day besides Monday, since we will not be open for business on those days starting July 1 as the schedule moves ahead. The two policies that are listed are simply the policies that address the first and third meeting dates in our Acadia Parish School Board Policy Manual that notes that we meet on the first and third Mondays unless otherwise approved by the board. You also have attached in your board docs portal our current meeting dates normally in January. We adopt a calendar of tentative dates as a matter of convenience and to tie to our budget calendar. So with that being said, just wanted to give a little bit of background on why this agenda item is on Personnel, Insurance, and Curriculum Committee.
another day.
Yes, sir. It's my understanding that's what the agenda item is for. To take a look at another day for committee meetings and board meetings.
I'll make a motion that we move the days to Tuesday.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Police jury on that.
Police jury's on Tuesday.
Police jury meetings are on Tuesday.
What? They certain Tuesdays or they every Tuesday?
First and second.
We would go first and second, or first and third.
First and third.
If you just said their first.
First.
District committee meets on the first Tuesday, the regular meeting is on the second. They haven't been having committee meetings since they
Had one.
That's a long story.
Okay.
So this is the move that.
But we did Monday and Wednesday, it wouldn't really affect
Sir,
y'all being there.
if y'all met on.
I mean, if we went on Tuesday, first and third. Y'all would have somebody here to represent y'all. No problem.
Well, I'm just filling in for Lisa tonight. So normally, yes, we would have somebody. Dr. Ted asking.
So would it be better if it's not on the same night?
Make sure we cover it.
It sounds like that, the police jury.
I cover police jury. Lisa covers school board.
Okay.
Lisa's sick, that's why.
But Lisa can do it.
So this is the move to the full board.
So we had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any objection to the motion? Okay, that,
First and third Tuesday, you said? First Tuesday would be the full board and the third Tuesday would be the committee.
Yes, sir.
all in favor? I need to find out. All in favor? Any opposed?
Make a motion to adjourn.
3.1, meeting adjourned.